Who's the most unexpected person you had sex with? While on the men's rowing team at college, I hooked up with the women's coach for a while. Didn't really see that happening. My second shift supervisor. I was first shift supervisor. I don't know how it even happened. We worked at a notorious building, I guess you could say. We did security. The building was always empty for its size. There wasn't too many people, and we had the keys to go anywhere. We did it on the roof with a city view, in the office bathroom, in a huge storage room, in our boss's office. The craziest part is I really never saw it coming. He was a sneaky one. He really buttered me up and gained my trust before even busting a move at all. What started off as a rooftop fuck turned into insatiable lust that I'll honestly remember for the rest of my life. I'm guessing y'all did it during third shift. On Halloween, I dressed as a girl from the original Star Trek. I had sex with a random guy dressed as Spock, still a high point of mine. 44-year-old woman from NC, best sex I ever had. Everything else after felt like cheap, no brand snacks after a few times with her. Edit. Forgot to say I was 23 at the time. It's hard to go back to Matic after you've sipped some fine wine. Coworker at summer camp. I liked her a lot, but I was too afraid to make a move. A bunch of us went to a friend coworker's place for the weekend, and on Saturday night she walked in Nan laid down next to me on the air mattress. Me, being clueless, was like hey, and she just sits up, straddles me and starts kissing me. It went from there and it was fun. I'm a heavy dude though, and at some point the air mattress cap popped off and it deflated. Took me a minute to realize that I was just laying on the floor. She went to the bathroom to clean up and I got the air pump to reinflate the mattress. And I guess everyone else heard. I went on a cruise to the Caribbean by myself when I was 25. I met a recently divorced 42-year-old mom of 3 the last night of the cruise, also by herself. We stayed up the entire night the last night in my room. She skipped her flight the next day, and I drove her to Atlanta where she lived from the port of Miami. We got a hotel downtown and fucked all night. I took her to her car at the Atlanta airport the next morning and will never see her again. The camp counselor I had a crush on when I was 11. I ended up running into her when I was 18. Didn't know it was her until we got to pillow talk. Best surprise ever. You're Anakin Skywalker. I've had sex with one guy my whole life, but I'm eating up these stories. I'm a virgin and I'm eating up these stories. I had a math tutor who was also a student teacher in high school. I was 18. She was 21. That basically turned into a 3WK tutor session followed by TV, movie and casual hookup. Second semester she was a student teacher in 2 of my classes. She got spooked and broke it off. I went from an F to a B+ in Math and Calc that year. She was a really good teacher. Pastor's daughter. I was 19. She was 22, and we ran the youth camp together. As soon as the kids were asleep we got biblical. God, she was hot. My female boss during my summer job at a coffee shop. Female best friend's best friend. She always hated me for some reason. Ended up hooking up throughout high school though. I was at a college Halloween party dressed as Willie Robertson from Duck Dynasty, and a girl dressed in a full banana suit had sex with me in the bathroom. Neither of us took our costumes off. I don't even know who she is. A girl from my college. Keep in mind that I was a fat, ugly bastard back then and still now. And this girl just kept showing interest in me up to the point we had sex for a few months, and she paid for the hotels and dinners and all. She's light years out of my league, so it still confuses me up to this moment. I used to be a fat guy in my early 20s. You'd be surprised at how many women don't care about hard bodies. I had my share of partners in college that were absolutely out of my league, to the point where a random person at a bar even commented, "That girl is with that guy." Ash only asked one of them why she was attracted to me when she could get just about any guy. She said, "You make me laugh more than anyone and that's sexy to me." Never questioned it again. My friend's sister. She is hot, so I guess why not? It happened 7 years ago. Now, we are married for 4 years. Yeah, that friend is actually still my best friend. My sister's college roommate. I hated that bitch. Still do. My boss when I was 19. She was the manager and talked me into being her love for a raise. 26 years ago I knew my wife, but we absolutely hated each other. Today, we've been together for 10 years and I can't imagine life without her. My best friend from high school. She picked me up and we went back to the place she was house sitting. Didn't know it was my old history teacher's house until the next day. This hot-ass bartender, who was absolutely out of my league when he asked, "What else are you doing tonight?" in a friendly, I-wanna-be-tit-well kinda way, and I said you. And he said, "I like that plan. Here's my address." Probably my ex's best friend. She was the one who told me that my ex cheated on a night out. I then saw her during Freshers Week at uni and ended up back at her dorm for a party. Lots of flirting and dirty talk, and I thought, fuck it. She hurt me and her friend was hot Sue. Moral of the story: if she hurts you, bang her friend. Random girl I met on a coach from Amsterdam to Brussels. We were both traveling alone and she came and sat across from me and asked if I wanted to hang out. After an hour or so of chatting, she asked to see my dick, so I obliged. There was only 2 other people on the coach, and as we were traveling through the night they were sat up front and they appeared to be asleep. Before I knew it we were fucking on the back seat and fucked 2 more times before we got to Brussels. She gave me a kiss and we parted company. Totally random event. We were hanging out at a friend's house and a friend of my friend, girl, was kinda drunk and saying I was gay because I wouldn't talk too much to her. She kept insulting me, then all of a sudden she grabbed me and took me to a room. Her ex was with us and just watched. I was not aware that was her ex and that he still loved her. And she had a BF at the time and wasn't aware either. Crazy girl. A week after my wife said that she wanted a divorce, I went on a vacation to Costa Rica that we were supposed to do together. I used it for some grieving time and figuring out what to do with my life. I was not interested in dating or hookups or rebounds. But then I started talking to this other American gal in line at the ice cream shop. And then we met up for dinner. And then we stayed up late drinking. And then we had sex on our raincoats in the jungle. Luckily she had condoms. It was real nice. That was 11 years ago. We've been married for 7. And our daughter is 3. My ex-boyfriend's mom. We have a winner. A female list celebrity. Met in Hawaii on a hike. She rolled her ankle and had heat stroke. I stopped to help her. I had a med kit, taped her ankle, shared my H2O and snacks, brought her to her car where her friends were waiting for her. I was totally shocked once I realized who she was. I left and did not ask for her number because I got intimidated. She drove off. The next few days I couldn't stop thinking about how I blew my opportunity. I was disappointed in myself. 3 days before leaving, I was running on the road near Popu. A Jeep pulls over in front of me. She steps out. I spent the next 2 weeks with her. Lost my job because I stayed with her. In 2017, I was on the same island with my wife and kids. Ran into her, her husband, and kids. My wife pulled my shirt and said, "That's the actress you told the story to me about. Prove your story," so I walked up, said hello. On a different Reddit account suited for more adult needs. I went to a local R for our subreddit and posted. Got muzzed from another Redditor saying come bang my wife, and well, I ended up doing it. She was like 4 to 5 years older than me, but was ridiculously attractive, so it really felt weird, partially because I thought she was too hot for me, and married. I've always wondered how those things work. Do you just ring the bell and say I came to bang your wife? I banged a teacher for almost a year. Best sex of my life. As a kid who grew up very sheltered and nerdy, basically any sexual conquest I made after high school still kinda baffles me to this day. Went through a period of sex addiction and had some gross hookups cues. I was drunk and would take anything with little effort. The worst was an older woman, prob about 60, who was married and was too super into it. After just meeting, she was talking about inviting me to parties or her family would be and having sex in another room. I asked if her husband had a gun and she said, liked yeah and seemed to get off on it. After our first and only hookup, I deleted her number and ignored her. I did to sisters and both of their individual best friends once, all individually at separate times, and all of them know about it and we're cool with it. I never would have thought that possible. Edit. It happened over a course of about 2 months and we all stayed friends. When I was in the Air Force, I was actually stationed on an army base. There was this red-haired MP that checked my badge every single day, but I honestly never really gave her a second thought. In uniform, she just wasn't very eye-catching. She probably had a sports bra on under her BDS. She wore no makeup ever, and always had her hair pulled back in a bun. Never flirted or chatted with me. She was just kind of, mundane. Anyway, I ran into her at a club off base one night. She looked very attractive. We chatted, drank, danced a bit, drank some more, made out, and then I was back on base in the army barracks. Most unexpected, I was using a fake ID to get into bars when I was like 18, and somehow, I managed to have sex with a stripper that I met at a strip club in Phoenix. Still baffled how I managed that as a wet behind-the-ears kid. When I was 20 years old, a 28-year-old MILF co-worker who was moving away told me straight up in my face at workout of the blue that she wanted to do it with me before she moved. She was hot and I thought it was a prank, but she sent me nudes right away. I lied to my parents and told them that I was scheduled to work on a Sunday. They were 12-hour shifts from 6 a.m. 6 p.m. so I had to be away from home that long. She paid for the hotel and we had sex all day. Sex was great. Thanks for watching. Share your stories in the comments.